We begin here. Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy, Police and Home Affairs want abandoned mines demolished. They say these mines have turned into a haven for crime syndicates. The committees are in the northwest for an oversight visit to disused mines in the province. Let's bring in the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. Let's just start off with how your visit in the northwest went. I know a few weeks ago we were with you here in Gauteng, and you felt as though those visits yielded positive results. Do you feel the same for the northwest?
Oh yes, but there are quite serious areas of concern, we must say so, in particular on the side of the DMRE. We think that there is a lot that needs to be done. In fact, it will be an understatement. We were quite shocked and disappointed about what we just saw when we went to some of the areas outside Sun City. The extent of illegal mining and degradation that you see in terms of the environment leaves much to be desired. Almost a kilometer, or if not more, of illegal mining activities. It's like a full operation is taking place. It's quite a shocking experience, and we don't know to what extent that damage had to go to the extent to what it is now. Yes, we can confirm that it is not illegal mining in the context of what we've been looking for. For an example, social crimes that are committed. But it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. The biggest problem is that this is, again, something that could have been prevented, and it's going to be a cost to the state to rehabilitate that mess that we saw there. So, yes, we can safely say that we do have confidence, in particular with our visit yesterday to Klerksdorp, where we've seen an arrest. But again, one of the concerns that we have is the lack of cooperation, in particular between the two departments, which is police and the DMRE.
Mr. Luzipo, when you say there's lack of cooperation, what do you mean specifically? And I ask this in the context of the fact that you're saying you're quite shocked as to what you found as the Portfolio Committee. One begs the question as to how this continued and allowed to get to this extent.
Look, the reason we say so is that, for an example, in most of the areas where we have gone, when you get presentations, mostly led by police, you can get a sense that the other departments, for instance, the DMRE, Home Affairs, and I must say, even the mining companies, they are quite involved in that exercise. In this case, DMRE seems to even be lacking knowledge of what is happening in mining more than police. You would, under normal circumstances, find that the DMRE is the one that leads when it comes to issues, to operational issues, or what we call technical work or technical understanding of how mining operates. In this case, I would say that we're not happy with the Northwest. We think that there is a lot that the department has to do. In fact, there's even been a request now that from a Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources point of view, we may have to have an overall meeting with all regional managers so that they can understand what is the expectation of portfolio committees when they visit some of these areas. The reason we say, again, there's no cooperation, you will find out what the police are saying. It is not necessarily what DMRE will be saying. To an extent, they even request that, no, they will want to brief the committees aside on their own. And we cannot allow that situation. We want these to work together. And that is what sometimes creates suspicion, that amongst the officials, either of the department or police or even Home Affairs, there is a collusion with some of those who are conducting illegal mining activities.
Mr. Luzipo, I just want to ask you, for the public that are watching this, the communities that are affected by illegal mining, when you think about what's been going on here in Gauteng, for example. Communities look at these visits done by Parliament's Portfolio Committee and they ask themselves, is this really going to help in any way? Are there going to be any differences and will there be any changes? What is your response to communities and the public saying this is just a waste of time and nothing is actually ever going to change?
Look, you can't change how people think, but at the end of the day, you can't stop performing your duties. I think the only issue can give assurance. Remember, portfolio committees of Parliament, including select committees of the National Council of Provinces, are not operational entities. Portfolio committees are supposed to look at what is presented to them in writing and be able to go and verify, call it fact-finding exercise, whether what is being shared with them by the departments concerned talks to what then you find on the ground. And if then you find that what you have been presented to you, it is not, then you make recommendations that will be endorsed by Parliament, and it will be expected that the executive authority, as you hold them accountable, will have to account and ensure that they implement those recommendations as adopted and agreed for by Parliament. So we must draw a distinction between the role of portfolio committees and the role of the executive authority, which is the departments. And that is why we say we can only hold them accountable on the issues that we have been able to observe and find. And that is why, amongst other things, we're even engaging with community policing forum leadership so that we can get the extent of what is happening. One of the things, for instance, in the mines where we're going, you will find that the MRE cannot give us certainty that in the area where we are is the areas we saw, there were mining rights or mining permit. And we have said we want them to forward that information in writing so that they can tell us then if that mining right has been issued, in what condition or under circumstances was it issued. You get situations where instead of the DMRE being the one that is issuing licenses, it is alleged that it is traditional leaders that are issuing licenses. And the question then is that if DMRE is aware that that person should not have issued a license, what steps are they taking, and what then becomes the interaction between the MRE and the police? Because issuing a fraudulent or an irregular permit for somebody to do mining is a criminal offense on its own. So those are the issues we have to follow. So sometimes we accept the fact that there is sometimes the mixed understanding about the role of portfolio committees as if they are performing the same task which departments are performing.
Okay, great. So, well, we wish you all the best and we do hope that there is some change that's brought about. That's the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy, Sahlulele Luzipo.